The Game of Power. Lesson 2. Part 3. The Jaws of Ingratitude. There's a reason we keep our distance from lions. Not because we hate them, but because we respect their nature. You would never reach into the jaws of a lion expecting it to be grateful. You would never offer your hand to a wild animal and assume it would spare you because of kindness. Yet with friends, people do it every day. They give, they trust, they offer opportunity, and then they're shocked, devastated even, when their generosity is met with betrayal. But power has no sympathy for the surprised, because in the world of strategy, expecting gratitude is like expecting a lion to remember your last kind gesture. It doesn't, and neither do people when power is involved. This is the cruel but necessary truth. When you hire a friend, bring a friend into your inner circle, or rely on them for serious matters of business or control, you are putting your hand inside the lion's mouth. And more often than not, you'll get bit. Why? Because friends don't always know how to handle power. They're not trained for it. Your success becomes their burden. Your authority becomes a mirror that reflects their own inadequacy. And instead of feeling inspired, they feel eclipsed. Instead of gratitude, they feel envy. At first it may be subtle, a joke with too sharp an edge, a missed deadline, a small act of defiance disguised as forgetfulness. But over time, that resentment grows. Your gift becomes their cage. The favour they once begged for becomes the chain they now resent. And all of it began not with cruelty, but with kindness. This is the lion's bite. It's not loud, it doesn't roar. It's quiet, inevitable. And by the time you realise what's happening, the damage is done. So what do the wise do? They learn to use enemies instead, not out of hatred, but out of clarity. Because with an enemy, the rules are simple. You know what they want. They know what you want. There's no pretending, no illusions of loyalty, just pure transaction. And in that transaction, both sides can win. Enemies, once turned, often become your fiercest allies. Not because they love you, but because they have something to prove. The man who once opposed you, but now works for you, does so with purpose. He works to legitimize his transformation. He works harder, smarter, and without the emotional baggage that friends often bring. But that doesn't mean friends are completely useless in power. There are moments, rare and calculated, when they can be used to great effect. When the work is dirty, when a mistake needs a face, when the appearance of sacrifice strengthens your hand. In those moments, a friend can be the perfect scapegoat. Kings and emperors have used this tactic for centuries. When public anger grew, they offered up a friend, someone close, someone beloved. The crowd, unable to imagine a ruler sacrificing their ally deliberately, believed the act was sincere. The outrage died down, and the king remained untouched. But that is not a move you play twice. Once the favourite falls, they never return. And the friendship, whatever it was, becomes another casualty in the war for power. It is a tool, one you must use carefully. The truth is this: friendship and power operate on different wavelengths. Friendship is emotional. Power is strategic. The two do not mix easily. When you bring a friend into business, you introduce emotions into what should be a machine. You blur the boundaries. You confuse the roles. That confusion leads to disaster. But if both of you are clear, if your friend understands the risks, the stakes, and the cost, then and only then can the relationship possibly work. But even in that rare case, vigilance is everything. Do not let affection blind you to warning signs. Do not assume loyalty where ambition may exist. Watch for envy. Watch for ingratitude. Watch for shifts in tone, in energy, in attitude. Because power is never stable. One moment of misalignment, and your closest companion becomes your most dangerous adversary. History is filled with once loyal friends who turned into bitter enemies, not because they were evil, but because they were confused. Confused about their worth, confused about their place, confused about your intentions. The man who receives a gift too large begins to wonder if he deserved it at all. That doubt turns to discomfort. The discomfort turns into distance. and soon they convince themselves they earned what was given and resent you for giving it. That is the heart of ingratitude. And that is why you must treat friends with caution. Use them if you must, but know the risks, know the cost. Enemies, on the other hand, can be handled with precision. An enemy has no illusions. They don't expect warmth. They don't assume trust. They know every step with you is a transaction. And if you hold the leverage, they will follow your lead. Their motivations are clear. Their loyalty, when earned, is solid, not because it's heartfelt, but because it's functional. You must train yourself to let go of the emotional comfort that friendships provide in your climb toward power. Power demands perspective. Power demands control. And power demands the wisdom to know when affection serves your interests and when it threatens them. So remember this: if you put your hand in a lion's mouth, don't be shocked when it bites. And if you give a friend too much power, don't be surprised when they forget who put them there. But if you learn to handle your enemies wisely, you may find in them the strength your friends could never offer. This is the final lesson of Law 2. End of Part 3.